Dylan got into his car, and as he drove through the empty woods that morning, he had no idea what he was about to come across. Dylan had spent the weekend away at a boys' camp far outside the city. After the weekend ended and camp was over, the boys began the trip back home. When they arrived back in the city, Dylan said goodbye to his friends and headed home. When he got home, Dylan checked his bag for his phone, but it wasn't there. He had left it back at camp. So early the next morning, Dylan got into his car and set off to go back to camp to get his phone. As he drove along the lonely road that morning, Dylan made his way back toward the camp. Further down the road, Dylan noticed a crashed car in the distance. As he drove closer to the crashed car, he noticed a man sitting on the ground beside it. When he got there, the man asked Dylan to help him get to a hospital. Dylan paused for a moment. The man didn't look badly hurt, just a bump on the head, and he was already nearly halfway to the camp. Dylan chose to continue his journey. "When I'm coming back, I'll help you," he said, planning to take the man back to the city on his return. He drove on and continued toward the camp. Later that morning, after retrieving his phone, Dylan set off on his way back. But when he got to the accident scene, the man was no longer there. Assuming someone else had helped him, Dylan continued his journey back to the city. A year later, Dylan graduated high school. After high school, he moved on to college. In college, Dylan stayed focused on his studies. A few years later, he met Amanda, and the two grew close. Dylan and Amanda grew closer and eventually started dating. Later on, Dylan graduated from college. After college, Dylan started his own company. Once he was well established, he proposed to his girlfriend, Amanda. In time, Dylan was set to meet Amanda's parents. When he arrived, Amanda opened the door and welcomed him in. Inside the house, Amanda introduced Dylan to her mother, who warmly welcomed him. As they talked, Dylan noticed Amanda's mother seemed distant, her attention drifting in and out. Dylan later asked Amanda why her mother seemed so distant, and Amanda explained. Her family was very happy when she was younger. Her father was there, and her mother had finally gotten pregnant again after many years since her birth. They were expecting another baby, and she was already 6 months along. One morning, her father had to take an urgent work trip to another state. They said their goodbyes, and he set off on his journey. Later that day, her mother received a shocking call. Her father had been in an accident and was at the hospital. She and her mother rushed to the hospital as fast as they could. But when they met the doctor, she explained that her father had been brought in too late. Though his injuries didn't seem severe on the outside, he had been bleeding internally. They said if he had gotten help even a little earlier, he might have survived. The shock was too much for her mother, and she went into early labor. The baby didn't survive, and from that day on, their lives were never the same again. Amanda told Dylan the date it had all happened, and slowly, the pieces began coming together in his mind. Wanting to be sure, Dylan asked to see a picture of her father. Amanda brought out a portrait of her father and handed it to him, and suddenly, it all came rushing back in Dylan's memory. The man he had seen that day on his way back to camp was Amanda's father. The man he didn't help because he thought his injuries weren't urgent. Dylan's heart sank as he looked at the picture. He finally understood the truth, that help delayed could become help denied, and change things in ways one never foresaw. Now he wondered how he could ever tell his fiancée that her family's life could have been different, if only he had helped in that moment. If you enjoyed this story, please like this video and subscribe to Moralight Tales channel, where every story leaves a light behind. Thank you for watching.